Testing, testing. Okay, thank you for joining me. My name is Jaikwa Ben Yisrael. Welcome to my channel. This is a channel for brethren who are both brethren who know about the OAHSPE Bible guidebook and brethren who are maybe interested in it. For brethren who have a spiritual inclination to know the Creator. Really, it's about to know the Creator. This is a channel where brethren have been called to come into the light of the Creator, the most recent revelation of the Creator that's in the OAHSPE guidebook. This is a channel for just to try to speak our own language. I try to talk about things that my like-minded brethren would be interested about, things that we are more than likely not going to hear about in the world. The OAHSPE is a book that the Creator has given us in the 1880s, just recently, and it's time for us to gain a better understanding of what we are on the earth for, our current reality, the past, present, and the future, what it's all about. But unfortunately, we are in a situation where here on the earth, most people are too beaten down to really care about their spiritual self. That's really a crying shame, because we know that this is not all there is. This is a channel where the really channels like this and other channels where faithless brethren are trying to share the light are really like voices crying in the wilderness. These voices are really like voices crying in the wilderness. And today I'm going to read a little bit from the OAHSPE as a kind of a reminder to show us how the Creator works and what time we're in, and also to try to provide some hope, knowing that this reality for faith is the earth. It is the lowest reality. It is the I don't know how to say anything other than the toughest, the lowest reality. It's the hardest reality. The earth is the toughest place for a faith is to be in. It's the most dense place. It's the it'll be the toughest place for faithists. And when you read the OAHSPE, it's like when we go into our spirit self, it's like we go into less dense realities. I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of like the less dense a reality is, it's the more I don't know what a good word is for it's a better reality. It's a more desirable reality. It's a higher reality. And these are things that they sound kooky to the world, but for those of us who are spiritual and who do want to know the Creator and have been wondering, and the Creator has given us the light, allowed us to come into the light of the understanding of His Word, we know, you know what I'm talking about. So anyway, welcome to my channel. This is the website that I have on the screen here is the website where you can go for ministry and information. I tried to broadcast the Bible study. I tried to broadcast the Bible study on Wednesday. It didn't come out too good. I'm trying to work out the bugs, and hopefully next week it'll be better. I went on ahead and got a new laptop, got a higher internet connection, going to try some different things. And so for anybody who checked it out on Wednesday, I had a couple of bugs. I didn't get them all worked out with the audio, but I think I'm making progress on it. So every Wednesday, I'm going to be broadcasting the Wednesday Bible study. So that's another thing that I'm going to be adding to my channel here. And again, here's the ministry information for brethren who are interested. You can go to the website. You can get this information. And then they have a creed that I always read for those who are maybe new to the channel, and you've heard about who faithists are. You heard a little bit about the OAHSPE. You're here, you're curious, and so this is like a little creed of what we're all about. What is a faithist? What is a faithist? We have faith in the all person and collective wisdom that is without gender. Is faithist. We live by and follow these guidelines inspired by the OAHSPE Bible and the work of John Newbro. We understand that supremacy exists only in a weak and fearful mind. We strive to do good works in the Creator's name. We respect others' opinions with understanding and openness, as long as their opinions do not diminish the dignity or free will of anyone. We are willing to accept differences from others with no bias. We treat others and ourselves with love and forgiveness. We are kind through our actions and whole being. We give others freedom we all deserve. It is easy to demand free will, but it is challenging to allow others to exercise their free will. We are able to admit our mistakes and take responsibility for our actions. With these guidelines in mind, it is easier to understand that the foundation of faithism is the study and pursuit of Amrath and Ahiba, divine forgiveness, Ahiba, unconditional love. For faith, this is the cultivation of Amrath and Ahiba are essential lessons on the path for soul growth. Many faithists adhere to a vegan diet to reduce suffering, but being vegan does not give anyone supremacy. All right, so that's the website. You can go to that for ministry and information. Also has some links in the description area of the video. I have a link for anyone who might desire to send the OAHSPE to a prison. I should have a link where you could send the OAHSPE to a prison. It's an incredible way, man, to spread the light. And I'm going to be reading from Book of Judgment chapter, I think it's 36. It's kind of like a reminder of what the Creator is doing step by step in our day. I covered it a couple of weeks ago, and it's a good reminder to let us know how He works, because most of the we need to just a constant reminder of what it's all about for us. And the OAHSPE, that's a living book. It's like every time you read, you can read the same thing over and over again, and it just has a freshness to it. It's got an anointing on it. And so I want to read from the Book of Judgment, chapter 36, to kind of set up the study that I'm going to do on why we are here. Why are we here in the flesh on the earth, or something like that? So, it's a good setup just to remind us what we are, what our mission. We got a mission. Faithists, we really got a mission. We're found that we can see ourselves in the OAHSPE. We have our part to play. And we don't, if I may be, sound a little crude, I don't know if we talk enough about the positive, the hopeful side of what it's all about for us as faithists, the good side, the encouraging side. We don't do these. We don't have faith in for nothing. We're not like this for nothing. The Creator, He put us on the earth. It's rough for a lot of brethren. The flesh, the tetracts, the low vibrations have to overcome it. We live in a world. People are opposed to the light, we see it. We see the nakedness of the earth, and it's not easy a lot of times. Just, we live in a world where a lot of people don't have answers that faithists have. And I know that it's an amazing thing, it's like, I remember being in high school and thinking, man, I'm going to never get out of this place. I'm going to never get out of here, I'm going to never get out of high school. And that was like, 40 something years ago, and it's the same way for the walk of faith on the earth, man. It's like we're going to look up and it's going to all be in the past, and then we will reap the fruits of our labor. The earth, it reaped the fruits of its labor pretty much right away. People, they sow into the earth, they reap on the earth, and it comes and it goes. For faith is a brother, he's, I just can't. I think what I'm trying to say is I can't encourage brethren more to plant seeds now, to build the foundation, be about building the foundation of the creator, planting, sowing seeds. The I'm gonna talk a little bit about foresight, man, in the study that I'm gonna do later on today. And I know that that's something, since we live in a reality of a world of people who do not have the like foresight, meaning constant awareness of what faithism, what it is all about. And so people cannot prepare and never learn until it's too late. Never learn until it's too late. Anyway, I'm gonna cover all that in the study today. Um, Here's where you can get a free OAHSPE. You write the theeloists, send them an email asking for a free OAHSPE. They give it to you for free, and also ask you if you want Radiance Anthology. I'm gonna try to read from Radiance Anthology today. I uploaded a study called "You Are What You Study," and I hope I get a chance to get it in. Um, it's a really nice study. People seem to love Radiance Anthology when I read from that. It seems to get a lot of responses on Facebook when I post from it. So here's the OAHSPE right here. And then we also have the 6-volume set, the supplement to the OAHSPE guidebook, the topical study, 6-volume set, where you can just flip it open and it'll have a subject matter and a verse pertaining to the subject matter. And it's just to help you to open up the OAHSPE, and then hopefully it'll grab you, and then you'll come into the light of a whole nother world. You'll come into the light of a whole nother world. 6-volume set is for anyone. You can just contact me. I'll send it to you for free too. Just ask you don't take advantage of me, because you can get it on Amazon for as low as it'll go. So anyway, the 6-volume set right there. So having said that, let me go right to the study. Hope I haven't forgotten anything. The video comment section has some links in there. Got the prison ministry. It's got the link for the 6-volume set. The OAHSPE itself, Brother Bayer's ministry on Thursday. Send him an email. He'll send you a link on Thursday to come join him. And I think I have some other information in my video section on my video channel. So let me go ahead and get right to the study. I'm going to read first from Book of Judgment, chapter 36, and set up the study. I'm going to read from the Book of Judgment first, chapter 36, just as a setup to the study. So I'm jumping into the middle of the chapter, as you can see. And but basically the point is that the Creator, he breaks it down, what we have been through the last thousands of years. He's telling us what he's been doing, and he's telling us what he's doing in our day. He's telling us what is going to what is going to come to pass in the future. Book of Judgment, chapter 36. God shows how he is wrought. When he says God here, he's talking about the Creator working through the gods of the earth, the ethereal gods of the earth. It says, God says, behold the work of my hand, O man. Behold the work of my hand, O man. As you find an old house no longer habitable, you send workmen to pull it down, and then you send laborers to clear away the rubbish. So he's painting a picture of something that people would do, like say they have a house and then they tear it down, and what they go through before they build the new one, before they build something else, on their property. A lot of people do that all the time. So the Creator, he's making an appeal to what we do on the earth. As you find an old house no longer habitable, you send workmen, they pull it down, And then you send laborers to clear away the rubbish. And afterward, you bring builders and there lay a new foundation, larger and broader than the old one. And upon it, they build you a new edifice, adapted with new improvements for the increase and requirements of your family. So the picture, the creator giving us a picture, and really that right there, that just covers what the creator in our reality, what he's done, what he's been doing ever since creation of man. You know, only thing is in cycles. Man, he's created, he gets built up, he gets to a point, he rises and he falls and he rises and he falls. And so the creator is telling us in the spiritual, in a nutshell, he rises, he gets built back up, he tears down the house, he builds it up again. He says, even so, has your God labored for hundreds of years to prepare for the generations of this day? Talk about the Ethereal gods. They've labored for hundreds of years to prepare for the generations of this day. For us to be in the mindset we're in, to know about the spiritual, to know this is not all there is, so that hopefully we can overcome the world. We can see what it's all about, and then we can dedicate ourselves to making the resurrection, make the resurrection of our spirit, make the resurrection of our mind, not to let the world keep us tied to the earth. For as I saw beforehand, that man would circumscribe the earth, and that all the nations and peoples of it would become known to one another. And I also saw that in the coming time, which is now here, the old edifices of doctrines, creeds, religions, including those of the Brahmins, Buddhists, Jews, Kayuans, and Christians, Mohammedans, would not fulfill the requirements of man. I forgot to pray. Jehovah, thank you for this opportunity to share the light and to try to do my level best to redeem the time, to encourage brethren who may listen, and to strengthen us for the coming days, where we know that we're in a time of there is great chaos and darkness in the land with wars and fightings, and Jehovah, I just pray for my brethren who are trying to walk in the light, that we would gain peace, wisdom, and greater understanding. Jehovah, we just pray for anyone who is interested in trying to find you, trying to listen to the light, trying to find it as well. We pray for them as well. So, Jehovah, I just ask for this lesson, that you would help me to say it clearly, to say it, to be full of encouragement, and to glorify you, and to help anyone who is seeking the light to understand what it's all about. And so, Jehovah, I thank you for this opportunity. In your name, I ask for the lesson, that you would bless it in your name. So let it be. All right. I forgot to pray earlier, so I like to try to ask the Creator to help me before I do these lessons, these studies. All right. So he says, and I also saw in the coming time, which is now here, the old edifices of doctrines, creeds, and religions. The old edifices of doctrines, creeds, and religions, including those of the Brahmins, Buddhists, Jews, Kayuans, Christians, and Mohammedans, would not fulfill the requirements of man. And now behold, O man, the wisdom of Jehovah in his preparations. He had permitted corruptions and contradictions to creep into the sacred books of all the said great religions, purposely with design, so as to make easy the work of your God. So that's exactly what you have in this day and age. You have brethren, scholars, who are really punching a lot of holes in the Bible, in religious books, the inconsistencies, the shortcomings. The Creator is saying right here, he did that he allowed that on purpose. So to make easy the work of your God, which is to open up the light, the current light, the knowledge and wisdom and understanding that the creator has given us now. And a lot of it, people, the things that he's showing, I mean, the contradictions, the inconsistencies, these are things that should appeal to a person's sense of logic. That's what I'm finding in my own reality. I mean, just the logic of it all. And I think that's one of the things that it probably could keep people from, they probably could scare them off even more when you talk about the logical inconsistency of like the for me the Bible. It's been when I started to hear the inconsistencies in it and the shortcomings in it, and it was really the logic of it that just struck me. And it seemed like the creator is really he appeals, because most people don't really take time, don't really care about spiritual things to look at, to really dig into it, uh to learn, dive deep, into whatever spirituality they have. It's like, from what I've seen in my reality, people, they have like their own sense of what spirituality is, not really heavy into doctrine. They just believe what they've been told, and then they take that, and that's good enough for them. But there are people who have dug and really uh, tried to learn and not just have a surface understanding of spirituality, Bible, Christianity, and you know, the creator, he really tries to appeal to people's logic. And I try to do the same thing on this channel, where I like to talk a lot about earthly analogies. Like, I just got finished, and the creator, he talked about a house, you want to build a new one, you tear it down. He does that all over the place. That's where I get that style from. He uses earthly analogies, and he really just he does a lot of appeal to your logic. But we live in a situation where people are used to being so jaded and deceived that a lot of people don't even have a sense of foundation. Like, what is true, no matter what nobody says. And we all got it because that's the creator. The sense of logic, man, of what he's talking about. And most people can't identify because they don't have that sort of foundation. They just don't believe. They just seem to not be able to believe something that sounds so easy and so right is true. It's true. So it says, now behold, O man, the wisdom of Jehovah in his preparations, talking to us about how he does things, how he raises us up. It says, in our day, he had permitted corruptions and contradictions to creep into the sacred books of all the said great religions, purposely with design, so as to make easy the work of your God. So he's saying that we can go to any spiritual book. That's what he's saying. He's saying we can go to any spiritual book and poke holes in it. Not like we want to, but I know I looked at one night, I just wanted to do a little study on all the spiritual books that could come into my mind. And it they don't talk a lot about the detail that the OAHSPE does. And I know I sound biased, but they do not, I've not really been able to read where it goes into detail, like man's spirit, how he would sow himself to the earth, how he would be hard. It would be hard for him to break from tradition. It would be, the spiritual influences that he's under, the knowledge of Drujas and who the Uzians are. And you could just see the confirmation in the earth every day that what the OAHSPE is talking about is true. The confirmation is in the world every day. And so people are a result of their spirituality. They are a result of the spiritual books and the learning. And when you look at them, it don't have the depth that the creator is sharing now, the depth of the human experience. It don't have the deepness. It don't have the consistency. And I'm not trying to. I'm not saying throw away all other spiritual books. They have value, but the OAHSPE is a better. It is a better. It's a what's a good word for a more. It is. It's a. It gives greater revelation about things spiritual that we have never heard before. Verse 7, and when I saw the coming together of nations and peoples would require religious edifice, I perceived also that the old ones must be cleared away. That's another thing that we're reading here. The Creator, he talks about he was going to open up the nations of the world, you know. And then that was going to be one thing that when that happened, that was going to be a sign that we would be ready for the cosmic era. The time we're in now, where the physical and the spiritual are going to come together, a more complete understanding. And behold, I, your God, went to work systematically, inspiring man to accomplish that which man is now accomplished. I raised up scholars and infidels against these religions, inspiring them to attack the corruptions, the contradictions in the sacred books of all these people. And you know, the sad thing for a person like me, I still shake my head at this. I that's one of the things that probably does more harm to me insofar as believing the OAHSPE is the simplicity, the obviousness of the shortcomings of the spiritual books that I have looked at. But see, I don't know. It's like faithism, you know, it's like people have their own view of things. I mean, we basically just read one thing in one book and another thing in another book. And it's like, unless people, even if people, matter of fact, we read in the OAHSPE, we read where the Creator said, even though people can see what's ahead of them and the hell that they are preparing for themselves, talking about people who really go after chase the world, you know, run for public office and this and that. The Creator said they can even see that they're setting up a hell for themselves, and they still won't turn. And that's, you know, it's like you can see it. You can see it. People will agree with us, will agree with the faithist point of view all day long. They'll agree with it. You know, sounds good, sounds right, sound practical, sound logical, sound like the Creator to me, you know. And people will agree left and right. They'll agree with you, won't have no answer against what you're saying. You know, a hardcore Uzian will still just come against you for just because they don't want you to feel like you want an argument or something. And they'll just, no, I don't believe it, and just don't even give no reason, don't talk about it. But people will receive what we say. But it don't resonate. It don't sink in. That's where we live. For a faithist, these things, they sink in. I'm telling you, man, that's the difference between a faithist and the world. I wish we would take that for granted, man. You know, to be able to see these things, to see the witness of the OAHSPE in the world. You can see where verse 9, I raised up scholars and infidels against these religions, inspiring them to attack the corruptions and contradictions in the sacred books of the people. That's been going on for a little while now, since I can remember when I first started trying to walk by faith. Verse 10, and in the same time that I sent infidels against the Jewish Bible. I sent infidels against the Hindu Bibles, against the doctrines of Brahma, Buddha, KU, and against the Christians and Mohammedans. And I made the beginning of the work of these infidels and scholars to correspond with the discovery of Gautama by Colombo, meaning around the time that Colombo came to the Western Hemisphere, that's when these scholars and these people were raised up to begin to poke holes in the tradition of religion. And this is right around the time of the Renaissance when Colombo discovered America, somewhere around that time, 1400s, around the time of the Renaissance. He said, and I made the beginning of the work of these infidels and scholars to correspond, meaning at the same time, the discovery of America by Columbus was going to be around the time of the Renaissance when people were going to basically just start using their mind. And I kept them at their work, these scholars and infidels, for 300 years, which was up to the time of the establishment of Gautama. Like tomorrow is what, 250-year anniversary? So for 250 years, Gautama, America, it says that he kept them at their work for 300 years, which was up to the establishment, meaning when the Declaration of Independence or whatever it is, when he kept them he kept the scholars and infidels who were poking holes in the old traditions, religions, up until, and really even up until this day. He kept up their witness that there were contradictions and inconsistencies in these spiritual works and traditions of men. He kept them at their work for 300 years, which was up to the time and establishment of the Republic of Gautama, America, which I, your God, provided to be untrammeled by an established religion, meaning we were supposed to be, they were given a government where you can speak your mind, believe what you want, say what you want. America was supposed to be, well, freedom of speech, the First Amendment, right? Or Second Amendment or whatever, First Amendment. The Creator said he did that. He made a way for people to be free to set up a government where they could basically speak their piece. Basically speak their piece and not be silenced, shut up. That's what we have. And you see that in the world today. We're supposed to have freedom of speech, but that's beginning to be taken away in this day and age because the truth about corruption, about the Bible, a lot of it is being silenced. Censorship, they call it. We live in a time of censorship now where you can't just say anything. That's one of the things that let you know that it's time for a new age. A new age is being birthed. It's never, it seems like it's never easy to take out the old and come in with the new, whatever it is. There's always some tribulation, especially when it comes to the Creator and the end of the materialist, authoritarian system, government of men. When they get power and authority, they do not want to let that go. They do not want to let that go, man. I tell you, that is the most amazing thing. And so it's almost as if like the Creator, he's got to let the agey, the denseness, the darkness fall on the earth where it's like pulling something out of a baby's hands. You have to pull it. You have to use a little, to get it away from them. It's like that's the same case in the world today. Men are not going to voluntarily bring in the cosmic era, not going to voluntarily put away with a system that allows some people to live in opulence and luxury, and while other people have to struggle. Men ain't going to let that system go very easily. So the Creator, he's got to make it so that, like that verse, I think it even says it here, what we're reading now, we might come across it where he says, I will make them look up. I will make them look up. With people, with human beings, you have to make them look up, man. You have to make them look up. Verse 12, after my workmen. Okay, so you got the scholars and the infidels. He calls them the workmen. They're equivalent to like construction workers. They go in, they tear down the old edifice, they prepare it for a new foundation. After my workmen, the scholars and infidels had thus undermined the old edifice. Behold, I sent laborers under the name of merchants and traders to commence clearing away the rubbish. Now, this is the opening of global trade and travel and the opening of other ports of nations where people begin to discover one another. And I forget exactly when that happened, but when global travel began to, I forget when, I think it was, I don't know if it was 1800s or 1900s. I think it was the 1900s, 19th century, when global travel began to become a big thing. Travel, airplane and ships, and that's what he's talking about here. Labors under the name of merchants, traders to commence clearing away the rubbish. So you have people, they were traveling by, ships on the ocean, going to doing trade. And Creator, he says that was like the second part of his plan to clear away the old tradition, the old edifices, the old doctrines, the old religions, because money don't have no religion. You know what I mean? When it come to trading, when it come to profit, when it come to commerce, it don't have no religion. Money don't have no religion. When money say do this, people, they do it. If money say show up on that holy day, people do it. That's what the Creator talked about here. He says, I'm going to send laborers under the name of merchants and traders to commence clearing away of the rubbish, meaning they were going to weaken the authority that religion, traditions had over people. If anything, the church, organizations, they were going to be secondary to the will of materialism and money. And it was going to weaken the false god spiritual kingdoms. I don't know if I think that's right, where commerce, the Creator is saying it here, so it must be right. He says that he was going to send workmen, and they were going to undermine the old edifice, the established religions, the established traditions. And he does it by introducing commerce, sounds like, to the world, where people are more interested in work than they are in spirituality, more interested in what they can see than what they can perceive, if you know what I mean. Like spirituality is really a lot of meditation and a lot of, um, inward examining. And we live in a situation where people, like even here in this country, the system is perfect to keep people preoccupied. But the Creator said that was going to be part of his plan, to undermine, to weaken the old edifice, send money makers. And it says, because of their desire, but he even talks about it, and because of their desires and money getting, they did not consider the religious edifice of any people. And they provided comedy relations wherever they went, meaning people got along because commerce was at issue here. I know that in order for you to trade with me and me with you, we got to get along with one another. Comedy relations wherever they went. That's, it in the world. You make trouble at the job, they'll let you go, man. They have a system in place in the world, job industry. You better not make waves, man. They will get rid of you. You know what I mean? That's what it's saying here, basically. And because of their desires and money getting, they did not consider religious edifice of any people. They provided comedy, and it's got the footnote over here on the side, what comedy means? It means courteous, respectful towards other persons, laws, customs, and institutions, civil, cordial, polite, agreeable, friendly, affable, warm, inviting, welcoming. Because you know that if you want to trade with somebody, you better get along with them. See, in this world, that's what, that's an amazing thing, ain't it? That is an amazing thing, man. When money's at stake, people, they learn to get along with one another. they that is an amazing thing, man. It make people act right. It make people show up on time. It make people put down their differences, and the creator said that was all on purpose. He knew that the spirit of man, when he introduces that into the world, where people, global travel, global trade, it was going to, one of the effects of it was going to be to make people it was going to make people um, behave themselves towards one another. Verse 14, for 100 years, these my laborers have been at their work, stripping off, clearing away the prejudice of nations and peoples against one another. That is pretty daggone interesting, man. The creator, money breaks down barriers, you know? When their profit is at stake, man, then they don't be talking about, nationalism and, so quick to insult other people, and you learn to treat other people with respect. So that's one of the reasons why the creator, he allowed interests, materialist interests, business interests to come into the world, because of that. It was going to have that effect on people and nations. You know, that's an amazing thing, man. And then behold, so the creator, he's showing us first, he saw that the old edifice needed to be torn down. He sends workmen to pull it down and laborers to clear away the rubbish. So he said that he sends errors in spiritual books, scholars and infidels, to come against the traditions and spiritual books that people cling to. He sent them, they're the workmen, to pull down the old edifice. And then second, he opens up global commerce, where people, they're going to be, it's in the world today. You can see it with your own eyes. Their interest is money making, man. And if anybody makes trouble or gets in the way of that, they get rid of them. So that's the workmen that, the second group of workmen that he sends. He sends the money getters, and they do global travel, and they don't care about any type of religion or, tradition or anything like that. And then he says, verse 14, for 100 years, these my laborers have been at their work, stripping off and clearing away the prejudice of nations and peoples against one another. And so even today, there is a sense of people saying, they're tired of religion. They're tired of the division. People begging for unity, wanting to focus on the unity. You do hear a lot of that, the No Kings marches, people wanting to put down authority, more of a sense of brotherhood of man. That's what those No Kings rallies are all about. And people don't know the underlying cause of that. The underlying cause is what we're reading right here. That's how the creator, he could move amongst people and they not even know it. We not even know it. We don't even know how we got to this point, And the creator, he's sitting up, now he's telling us. And even then, when you tell people, they still, you need a person who's really good and gifted, man, to explain these things to people. Sometimes you just need to hear it over and over and over again before it registers. This is spiritual stuff right here. Verse 15, and then behold, I came with my builders. That's the Thetis. He sent the scholars, the infidels, and then he sent commerce into the world, and then they help to clear the foundation for the builders. The foundation, when you go to like a construction site, they have different trades. They have like carpenters, they have the steel workers, they have the plumbers, they have the sheet metal, they have the different trades. And basically, and it's even the same way now. You got brethren sharing the light, sharing the OAHSPE, and they come from their perspective. They specialize in their vibration. You have brethren with the scientifical vibration on them. You have brethren with the political vibration on them. Brethren with the geopolitical, economical vibration. People, brethren with a interpersonal vibration. It's like brethren are skilled workers. They're specialists in one area or another. You got historical brothers who can apply shine the light on the historical OAHSPE and nations, and that's what's happening right now. It's like the cosmic era came around, the creator said, okay, send in the carpenters. Send them over there to the global south. Send some carpenters over there. Send some electricians too. Let's see. Gautama, what do Gautama need? Okay, Gautama, bring in the concrete workers, Bring in the plumbers. They need some plumbers over there, I mean, spiritually speaking. That's what we read in here. The creator is saying, first, I sent this group. Second, I sent that group. And now we have to faith this. Verse 15. And then behold, I came with my builders and I prepared a new foundation. That's the faith this. Broader, firmer, more open, for an edifice adapted to all the nations and peoples in the world. There you go. Now now it's ready. Bring the faiths. Okay? For a new foundation. Now bring in the faiths. For a broader, firmer, more open, for FC. You can't punch holes. It's harder to punch holes in the OAHSPE. Mistakes. What people usually do is they attack John Newbrough. Oh man, he was a white man. He was a dentist. You're going to believe him, And people stumble on that. And that's about it. The first thing they point to is John Newbrough. Nobody will point to that donkey that spoke in Numbers chapter 23 to a man, to beat sense into a man's head. Remember Balaam's donkey? Nobody will say anything about that. But when a man say, hey, look, man, the angels came and, they took control of my fingers, and it's too hard for people to believe. It's too kooky sounding. He sent his new foundation workers, the faithists, a broader faithists go around talking about we're all brethren. We're all brethren and sisters. There's no division between us. There's one creator, and we all come from the creator. Firmer, more open, for an edifice adapted to all the nations and peoples of the world. That's faithists. That's what our mission is. To prepare a new foundation. Share the light. It will share it with us. So now we turn around and return the favor. First, I sent my miracle workers. Okay, so now he's talking about the new foundation. Now he's got this is another part of the plan, the 1800s. He sent miracle. This is all part of the clearing away the new foundation. The faithists are coming. 1840s, cosmic era. And then he sent miracle workers forth into every quarter, miracle workers, saying to them, whatever was done by the ancient gods and saviors, do likewise and greater. For I will show the entire world that no man or God is worthy to be worshipped because of miracles. So we had a time of miracles, a time of the Creator opening the windows of heaven, showing men miracles. Remember, we talked about the Fox sisters. Remember, I talked a little bit about Lola Hurst. Is that her name? Lulu Hurst? That woman that could lift men. We read that verse in the OAHSPE where it said a little child shall lift 8 men or something like that. And she did something equivalent to that. And you know, she wasn't the only example. She wasn't the only example. Verse 17. So now we got the miracle workers in order to get men to enlighten them, to show them that the spiritual side of our reality, and the miracle workers, the spiritual workers. And they went forth at my command, and my angels went with them, doing wonders. They healed the sick by the laying on of hands. They restored blind to the sight, restored blind to sight, made the deaf hear. These things happened, and they brought supposed dead to life. They caused writing to come on stone tablets and on paper in the light of day and unseen hands. And this brother here, the editor, he gives a testimony. He's talking about what we read now. This refers to the spiritualism movement. People don't know about this, don't care about it. This is the witness that, and even if you show them, they won't believe. Most people. Here he gives the editor, he gives a personal testimony. I've seen 2 cases of blindness thus cured. I mean, to me, I'm not trying to sound, I don't know what the word is, but these type of things, when it comes to spirituality and the Creator, I'm not surprised that these things are done. I mean, it's like I think I expected that true spirituality, that this is the type of power that the Creator that He has, and He gives to some people and not to others. I have seen the editor saying, I've seen the editor of the OAHSPE. I've seen 2 cases of blindness thus cured. One had been blind 12 years and the other 8 months. These 2 I knew of my own knowledge, but I have heard many of other cases which were well authenticated. Also know of a child that 3 physicians pronounced dead, which was restored to life and now living. I've heard of many other cases, but find the authority is not sufficient for a work of this kind, talking about his editing of the OAHSPE. So I don't know if other brethren are, the same way, but I'm not surprised at these, what people call miracles. I mean, my opinion of the Creator is, Creator can do anything. He can do anything, but He uses it as a testimony to get men to pay attention. Some other things that the miracle spiritual workers of the 1800s did: they caused writing to come on stone tablets and on paper in the light of day by unseen hands. They caused ponderous bodies without mortal contact to move and beat time of music. I gave the example of that Coral Castle in Florida, when it says that they have caused ponderous bodies. Those are like heavy, big, gargantuan things that you don't think a human could move, and ponderous bodies. They have caused ponderous bodies to move without mortal contact, to move and beat time of music. Now, exactly what that is talking about, I don't know, but you get kind of an idea when you look at that thing, Coral Castle of Florida, and you see the guy who built it. It looked like a puff of wind could knock him over. Said he built it because his heart was broken, but he said he had an understanding of leverage. He had a secret, and it's there. He built it. You can go online to see it. Testimony that the Creator, what He's saying here, is really true. And then here, what I was talking about earlier, a child is lifted 8 full-grown men with a little finger, and I gave the example of Lulu Hurst. Her name was Lulu Hurst. They have passed both on flowers and plants through boards and tablets. Okay, so basically now he's just telling us about all the miracles the spiritual workers would do to bring men into the cosmic era. You can read this if you want. I want to get to the study, about time for the study. So this is Book of Judgment, chapter 36. I wanted to read this because it's set up for the title of the video is Why Are We on the Earth? What is our why are we here in the flesh on the earth, or something like that? That's the title of the, and I wanted to make the case that we are to what our place in the Creator's plan is, what faith's place in the Creator's plan is, what our place is in the Creator's plan. To build a foundation, and the foundation really is us. So you can read this. This is Book of Judgment, chapter 36. I'm gonna go to the study now. It's the top of the hour, so it's time for me to get to the other study. And so here's verse 37. It talks about, it goes even deeper, where now the Creator, he talks about how we came to be faithless, why we believe what we believe, and how the angels had a hand in it. Chapter 37, he goes even deeper. Creator opening up the mysteries of, and this, the world, even though this information has been out since the 1800s, and this is really the type of information that people are dying to know. But like I was saying earlier, what I have seen is the pull of the world is so strong. It's hard for people to have any spiritual interest. And now the Creator is letting us go through some period of aging. And even in the coming weeks and the coming months, remember chapter 14, book of ES, he said, I will make them look up. It's like if the knowledge of the cosmic era and the OAHSPE, if that don't grab you, then the Creator, he's got to touch your flesh. In order to get your attention, he's got to touch your flesh. He has to touch your flesh, man. He has to touch your flesh. Okay, so let me turn to the study. Turn to the study, which is the title of the video. One second while I bring it up. Now, the name of the video is What Benefit Is There to Be in the Flesh on the Earth? What benefit is it to be on the flesh in the earth? And I try to be as provocative and to pique someone's interest with titles like this. What benefit is there to be in the flesh on the earth? Actually, it's the first part of a two-part study. And what benefit is there to be in the flesh on the earth? What benefit is there? I wanted to say this again, man, wait till the world finds out there's no such thing as a paycheck in heaven. There is spiritually, but not materially speaking. There is no such thing. There's no such thing, man, as a paycheck in heaven in the sense of money. What do you think the world would think when they realize that? All the energy that the world puts into money making. What do you think will be the response of the world when they realize that in the spiritual, there's no such thing as making money. I think I'm going to get into that a little bit too in this study. It says in OAHSPE cosmology, being in the flesh, corporal existence on earth is not a punishment or accident. It's deliberate, beneficial stage in the soul's journey. It is a deliberate, beneficial stage in the soul's journey. The text views mortal life as a unique school for spiritual growth that cannot be fully replicated in the heavens. How do you like that? How do you like that, man? This experience we going through. Now, this is AI, this information, but it's faithful to the OAHSPE. The AI draws from OAHSPE resources and gives us answers. And it should resonate with faithless brethren that this is the case. Corporal existence, it is deliberate, beneficial stage in the soul's journey. It is a deliberate, beneficial stage in the soul's journey. The text views mortal life as a unique school for spiritual growth that cannot be fully reciprocated in the heavens, can't be repeated. Here are the main benefits highlighted. I want to edit it while I'm going along. 1, learning through contrast and trial. That makes sense, don't it? What benefit is there to be in the flesh on earth? 1 is learning through contrast and trial, the school of experience. The physical world provides opposition, limitation, and choice. Pain versus pleasure, darkness versus light, selfishness versus service. These create the friction needed for growth. How do you like that? Remember what the Creator said? He made life like a mountain. You know, here is life in a nutshell, man. You know, what it's all about. And man will seek the earth. He will seek the material. Anything that doesn't pay in a couple of weeks that you can feel in your hands, it's hard for him to resonate with. It's hard for him to have faith in anything else. That's the miracle of what you faithists are involved with. To have faith is a miracle, man. It's the Creator. Look at this. In the heavens, souls are in environments shaped by their own grade. Lighter realms for higher souls. Easier realms, I think, is a good substitute for lighter realms. Easier realms. You know, lighter realms. You know, you ever hear someone in the world say, man, he got it easy? That's equivalent to the OAHSPE saying he's in a lighter realm. Sometimes you read about the OAHSPE and people who don't redeem the time, who keep that low vibration. They stay on that low vibration. They go into the spiritual and they go into dense regions of the spiritual. You know, if you're the type of person who's hard to get along with on the earth, you know, toxic type of person, rubbing people the wrong way, always down on people, they stay away from you, you know, they don't have anything good to say about you. And you go to those type of people. The Creator, he calls that a dense atmosphere. Druges and Uzians and people who do not make the resurrection, man, you know. They go like attracts like. And we live in a world, the thing that makes me shake my head, man, and really, it shows you the wisdom of the Creator. You need to see the apathy, the ignorance, the darkness, so you can learn to keep your butt out of it, man, you know? That's one of the purpose of our reality. Why he's showing us, you know, why he send people your way, people you don't like. And, I seen to attract everybody that I seen to attract spirits that you know, it's probably the same way for you, brethren. If you ever wonder, man, why things seem to always go sideways rather than straight in our reality, you have to think it's on purpose, man. You've got to think, man, this is on purpose. You know, this guy, I rubbed him the wrong way. I rubbed that guy the wrong way. I rubbed that guy the wrong way. You know, you got to know, man, the creator is telling us the physical world provides opposition that the spiritual realm does not. Pain versus pleasure, darkness versus light, selfishness versus service. What will you choose? These create the friction needed for growth, man. I just believe in all my heart we don't go through what we go through for nothing. I just believe it. I believe it. I do believe it, man, that one day faiths will wake up and will be beside themselves with joy, happiness, and fulfillment, and peace, and love, and light. And I just believe that with all my heart, man. I just do. I just can't help it. In the heaven, souls are in the heavens. Souls are in an environment shaped by their own grade, lighter realms for higher souls. On earth, you face real resistance, temptation, and suffering, which build strength, wisdom, compassion that passive heavenly existence cannot provide as intensely. OAHSPE compares it to a school or a nursery where the soul learns to walk upright spiritually through repeated effort. The OAHSPE says that we're in the womb, and faith is almost like we're trying to walk while we're in the womb. There are some children, I hear accounts, man, where they're like way, way, way ahead of their age group, advanced, mature. People call them gifted, the world. That's the case for faiths. We realize we in the womb. Even the Bible tell you of our experience. The Creator, I believe, he put that in the Bible so that we can marvel over it when he gave us the OAHSPE, meaning the account of Mary and Elizabeth. Mary, the mother of Jesus, Elizabeth, the mother of John. Mary came to greet Elizabeth, and John the Baptist leapt in the womb. Remember that? That's a picture of what's going on right now. We come into the light and we get activated. Faiths get activated. They leave the world. They get started, man. They get started working on themselves, man. It's between them and the Creator. Conscious of their spiritual grade, understanding of what trials and temptations are about. The earth is about, in the flesh, is about service and building spiritual grade. Fleshly life is the primary place to perform good works to serve others in tangible ways. Tangible ways, helping the needy, raising children, building communities like Shalem idea, practicing ethics under pressure. How do you like that, man? How do you like that, man? What if you told the world this? I mean, the Creator's doing it. Wouldn't that make people drop a lot of weight? You know what I mean? When I say drop weight, man, I mean the inconsequential, unnecessary things and vibrations of life. We got enough as it is, just trying to daily existence. There's enough out there without adding situations and problems and troubles, especially when you don't have understanding. At least we got understanding, man. That lightens our load a little bit. It lightens our load a little bit. And again, man, I got to say it again. We covered the earth is coming. I'm talking about here, we in America. So I'm going to address America. I'm going to say it again, man. You know, I look at the different videos where they get analysts on there. You know, if the Uzians are sounding the alarm, see, Faithis, we shouldn't be. The thing for us is, I believe we're going to appreciate our foundation. I thoroughly believe that the Creator is going, because you see where there's no witness really. There's not too much of a, there's not too much of a witness about, you look at the social media, there's no witness of the Creator, of the light, of the OAHSPE. There ain't no witness of it. And I think that social media, it is a microcosm of what's going on in the world. I think we can learn a little bit from it, telling us what the vibration of the world is. We can learn a little bit. We can learn a little bit from listening to the news, listening to the radio, media outlets. You could learn something from them. You could learn which way is the increasing, is the spiritual grade increasing, is it falling? If it's decreasing, we know that the AG is getting darker and darker. You know how AG comes? The light presses it down to the earth. The light presses it down to the earth, man. And it's like it presses it down before it flushes it out. I'm trying to provide a picture. It starts up there, the lower heavens, the solar phalanx, the serpent, the planets, We go through the Etherian worlds. It's like a roadmap. We're in a time of darkness, density. We could tell when we look at the world. And that's the darkness. It pushes down on from the lower heavens to us. And then it's like it gets flushed out. And we can look and see the activities of the world and tell, we can't go on much longer like this, man. We just can't go on. That's not the good news is that darkness, the Creator, he even said it, it's for a season. It's for a season. And we live in, I'm telling you, the testimony of the world, at least the little indication that I get from trying to keep up in social media and this sort of thing, that's about all my world is what's the word, is that's about all that is I'm trying to find a word where it describes that's the makeup of the world, that my reality is social media. I get on the internet and I get a picture of the world basically from the witness of social media. Now, a lot of it you can't believe, you have to just use your inner light to try to find out like what the truth is, which way we're heading spiritually. Is the kingdom nearer or is it farther away? We know in 2049 is a 200-year cycle, end of a 200-year cycle. I don't know. I'm trying to get a handle on what that means for us. For Faithis, I know it's something to look to. Now, I think it's a resurrection in the spiritual. I don't know. But I know that we have times of density, Etherian worlds that we go through, and times of light, great light. From what I can understand, you could be going through a time of AG and it have differing effects on faithists and the world, the Uzians. On Uzians, it'll make their grade lower. For faithists, it should increase their spiritual grade. Fleshly life is the primary place to perform good works. Fleshly life is the primary place to perform good works and serve others in tangible ways. Go to my description area, man. You can send books to prisons. Recently, I was making a proposal of how we could start little organizations and fellowships wherever we live on Facebook. You just put a little ad in the paper. Our thing, it just should be about trying to connect, is all I'm saying, with brethren. Connect with them. And then the creator, he'll take it from there. Somebody's got to get it started. I believe the faithists are chosen to be initiators, to get it started, to connect with other brethren. There seems to be this flavor in our nation where some brethren, they just satisfied to just keep to themselves without trying to share the light. I don't get that. I just don't get it. If somebody didn't share it with us, we wouldn't have known about it. Does that make sense? Service in the corporal world earns higher grades. Who's interested in higher grades? Now, I don't personally, in my experience as a faithist, I cannot work for a higher grade, man. I just can't, I could be, it might not, I just can't do that, try to do things in order to, the Wednesday study that we had, the brother, Dr. Kendall, he said that it's like he said, I don't know if I had to chew on it, but I'll share it with y'all, and I hope I'm saying it right. He said, it's kind of like he said, it sounded a lot like predestination. Like we have an operating system that already has a built-in spiritual grade, and then we come on the earth and then we work it out. And then, that's what I understood the Wednesday study that we had, the Wednesday study. He seemed to describe us as like predestination. Now, some brethren may have a problem with that, and I can understand. I think I'm describing it right. The Wednesday study, part of the Wednesday study, what he said, like we're like predestined. We have a spiritual grade, and then we work it out on the earth. It's not like the creator doesn't know, he's ignorant. He don't, well, let me put him on the earth to see what his spiritual grade. I think, I'm just saying I can make the case that the creator, we here, we on the earth, and then we working out, like the Bible says, we work out our salvation, like the Bible says. We have a spiritual grade, we naturally rise to it. I think is sounded to me like how the brother was putting it in the Wednesday study. And so I'm just saying that I think we can't be nothing other than what we are ourselves. But service in the corporal world earns higher grades and harvest in the afterlife. So it's like what you do reaps a harvest. If you like Brother Nazarene, the Seeing Faithist, he passes out index cards and, they don't know who he is. He doesn't know who's reading them, but he's reaping a harvest, He's got them little index cards. He just passes them out, That's a great way, man, to be about spread, sowing seeds, so to speak. That is a great way, man. Get your little index card. I got them. Put them on put the OAHSPE on there. Put a little something on the back of the card. Pique people's interest. You can do it. Nobody knows where, who laid it there, where it came from, You can be totally invisible. You're redeeming the time. You're spreading the light. You're serving the corporal world, man. I remember something in the Bible where it says somebody was like this woman, she's in the spiritual now. And she says, where did all these come from? And the angel said, you. You, now I forget what I read, but that's somewhere in a spiritual book I read. I can receive it, the lives that she had touched, and it reaped the harvest. Many she didn't know how she impacted them. See? And the creator is telling us, be while you're on the earth, you're not gonna avoid problems and ailments and health and incidences. You're not gonna avoid them things. Trouble, you know. So knowing that you can't avoid them things, at least if you're gonna at least redeem. I like to tell people, like I was telling this one lady, she was telling me about all her physical problems and how she got to have surgery and they got to take out half of her body. And I said, look, wait, stop, lady, hold on a second. I said, I'm gonna be blunt with you. I'm gonna just be blunt with you. And she said, what? I said, you ought to start considering your spiritual side. You see that you can't take it with you, and that it's just one thing after another when it comes to our reality and life and everything like that. Now, the lady was a nurse. I said, you ought to consider, man, the spiritual side of things. You're in the spirit more than you are in the flesh. And she seemed to agree and like what I was saying. You know, it's like people, when you talk to them, they immediately share with you the most negative, worst things. It's like human nature, focusing on things, problems, the vexations of life. And, you know, it's like people have they have a vibration to, they talk about, I mean, those things register more with them, the negative side of life, the incidental things, the vexations that happen. You know what I mean? It's like that seems to make more of an impression on people than things of hope, like what we are talking about here, the creator. This is a channel where I want to, I know, man, that the message of hope is going to be at a premium. I don't know when, but I know it will be. I know that's why the OAHSPE will, people, when they had enough of the world and the disappointments of the world, that the OAHSPE is going to become very, very popular. Very, very popular. It's going to resonate with people. When people get tired of trying to grab at, it's like you're always chasing the carrot on the stick, man. You're always chasing security, chasing money, chasing retirement, chasing a house, chasing the job, you're always, that's all that we, especially here in the Western Hemisphere, it just wear you out sometimes, man, you know. And I was talking to that nurse and she said, I said, listen, lady, I said, listen, you know, you ought to start. I mean, here you are, you working, you got to go, you got to take they're going to let you have little time off to get operated on, and then you got to come right back to work. That don't make sense, man. That is not living. That is not living, man. What? So you get a little 2-week vacation, if that, Why? What? And the creator sets it up. So hopefully people will say, hey, man, hey, forget that, man. What's the other news? What's the spiritual all about? What's all that? Who knows the answer to that? You would think that, and see, that's why we have to have that's why we got to have what we got now. We got to have pressure. We need pressure. We won't turn. Fleshly life is the primary place to perform good works, serve others in tangible ways, helping the needy, raising children, building communities. See, my idea that I shared on Facebook was put an ad in the paper. You know, you don't have to start out overnight with a big church building and all kinds of, thousands of people show up. The creator, it seems like he's slow moving, incremental, You yourself, one brother, he sent me something on Facebook. He said, I want to go to this type of church and I want this, and that. I said, all right, brother, that's great. Now go and build it. You go. See, we got this mind, we waiting for the leaders, the leaders. I told one brother, hey, you are the leader, you are the leader, man. A faithists are, hey, remember, in our community, there ain't no leaders. There are leaders and there ain't none. How's that? Meaning, brethren who want to have the forefront, who want to be in the forefront. We don't have those in our kingdom. But we are the foundation workers. The creator says, okay, I'm going to send him, her, bring them into light, bring him, her, bring them into the light while they're on the earth, bring them, bring that one, bring that one, bring that one, bring that, bring that, bring that, bring that one, bring this one, that one, that one, that one, that's who we are. Service in a corporal world earns higher grades. I don't see how you can consciously do that. You just have to be yourself. Without the body, without the body, many lessons of patience, sacrifice, and love would be theoretical rather than proven. Now, again, this is AI talking. I can receive it. I can receive this. I see, we don't know exactly. We in the flesh, man, But there are people who the creator has given them a certain wisdom and they can write books. They can, give witness. And now we have this AI. It can go in and draw from resources and put it on digits to give us an understanding. And your inner light should testify whether a thing is true or not, It says here, without the body, many lessons of patience, sacrifice, and love would be theoretical rather than proven. I don't know how to prove that's true. I can receive it. We don't know the spiritual, empirically, experientially. We don't know it, Even brethren who go into the spiritual realm, they go to Yatante, the impression I get, they can talk about being there, but it's like when they come into the flesh, it's like they seem to, I don't know what a good word is for, I don't know what a good word is for, they seem to come under the effects of the body, Here it says, without the body, many lessons of patience, sacrifice, and love would be theoretical, meaning it would just be a philosophy rather than proven. Without the body, it's almost as if you got brethren who are spirit born, you got brethren who are earth born, who also are spirit born, and since that they become, some brethren, some gods are not earth born. That's one benefit, faith, is that we on earth have over some gods. We are earthborn brethren. So we will have more of an advantage or something. Earthborn brethren who becomes gods and goddesses from being on the earth. I don't understand it. I know that's what the OAHSPE says, so Being on the earth in a flesh body, we gain a unique perspective and identity. I don't understand that, but I believe it. It says the body anchors the soul and individuality and sensory experience. This develops talents. How do you like that? Personality and empathy that enrich the eternal spirit. Now, I can receive that. I can receive it. We're here for a purpose, ain't we? We ain't here for nothing. That should make sense. You know what I mean? Preparation for higher ascensions. Preparation, being on the earth in the flesh body, is preparation for higher ascensions. Mortal life is a proving ground. How do you like that? Souls who master it enter the second resurrection and higher heavens with greater capacity. Look at that, for greater capacity for joy and responsibility. That's what it's all about for a faithist. Mortal life is a proving ground. Souls who master it enter the second resurrection and higher heavens with greater capacity for joy and responsibility. OAHSPE stresses that all eventually is sin, but those who make the most, for those who make the most of the fleshly stage, progress faster and with less remedial work in the afterlife. Now, again, man, I don't know exactly how this plays out, but I do believe it. I can only draw on earthly experience. You It's like having to repeat the third grade over again, man. Do it again. Remember, I was talking about a coach I had, and he would stop the practice. He said, "Everybody line up," and then run, and then we would run, and then we would get finished. He was now do it again, or he would say, "Do this again, do that drill again, do." I remember them words for the rest of my life, man. Do it again, do it again, and how I hate it. Oh, do it again, man. You know, I think that's why I'm a big proponent, man. If I have to go through something, at least let me redeem the time, man. Let me not sit around complaining, dragging, just always bitching, never offering any solution or anything to help myself or anybody. If I'm gonna be here, let me redeem the time. Let me do something to make the time count. The creator says, okay, this is how you do it. Open up the OAHSPE, read. Yes, you're right. You're true. You on the earth. This is why I put you there. Because it's going to be better for you. It's going to be better. You just in that period of your consciousness. Now, you on the earth. It's a densest atmosphere, but redeem the time because you'll never pass this way again. You'll never pass this way again, man. So if I have to be here, you know what I mean? If I have to be here, then let me redeem the time. At least let me redeem the time, Jovi. OAHSPE stresses that all eventually sin, but those who make the most of the fleshly stage progress. The fleshly stage progress. The fleshly stage progress faster with less remedial work in the afterlife. I believe that. I just believe it. I just believe it. Balance view from the OAHSPE. The text doesn't romanticize earthly life. It acknowledges suffering, temptation, and the spell of darkness, but it teaches that these are temporary and purposeful. The goal is not to escape the flesh prematurely, but use it wisely, man. There you go. You got a lot of faith that's broke down, man, afflicted, and and that's like the creator allowing that so that we don't tie, even when we're even in that condition, man, people tied to the earth. You see it slipping away, man, and it make people hold on even tighter. It make people hold on even tighter rather than getting them to look up, man. Look up. The goal is not to escape the flesh prematurely, but use it wisely. Live ethically, serve others, commune directly with Jehovah, prepare for the transition to the spirit life. See, that's one thing about the OAHSPE, man. You know, the world don't like talking like this or talking about stuff like that, acknowledging that there's more after this reality. I like knowing. I want to know, man. I don't want nothing hidden from me that concerns me, you know? Even if it's the bitter pill, man, I want to know, you know? That's what I like about the OAHSPE is telling you to your face, man, look, prepare yourself for what you know is true. Quit running from it. Quit hiding from the truth. It's not as bad as you think. People fear once you get to talking about the unknown, people automatically think the worst, man. That's where we live. That's the reality we live in. Automatically, man, people think the worst. You know, look at here. In short, it says the goal is not to escape the flesh prematurely, but use it wisely. Live ethically, serve others, commune directly with Jehovah, prepare for the transition to the spirit life. In short, the benefit is accelerated soul development. That's talking to us, you faithists, through our life, real world application, turning potential into actualized spiritual power. Heaven is for rest, reflection, and spiritual growth, and work too. But earth is where the deepest forging happens. Making yourself. Remember, forging yourself. This aligns with OAHSPE cycles. Corporal existence is a key phase in the spiral of ascension. If we don't build a foundation, who will? The first part was about fleshly life on the earth. This is like the second study. I don't know if I'm going to get to radius anthology. Matter of fact, I might have to do this another time. If we don't, who will? So I don't really think I need to talk about that. I think you brethren can guess. Foresight is a huge advantage. I was going to talk a little, maybe I have to do it another time. I'll never get to it though. I want to read radiance anthology. Foresight is a huge advantage. Foresight is a huge advantage, man. Foresight is a huge advantage, man. Foresight, I was going to read that study, get into foresight. I think I'm going to just have to break it off and do it for another time. Do foresight for another time. You can guess what I'm going to talk about. Foresight is a huge advantage. Absolutely, man. One of the greatest advantages anyone can cultivate. In the text of OAHSPE and Faith Aside, this resonates deeply. Foresight, the text frames human and national spiritual progress as a matter of essential. Okay, so I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to get into that. I want to, but I want to read from Radiance Anthology because people really seem to like that. So I have to get to this another time. Foresight, man. That's a good study right there. Okay, I want to get to I'm getting to the end of the video. Let me get to Radiance Anthology, and then I can read that, and then I can close the video. All right, so this will be, let's see. This will be called You Are What You Study. This will be from Radiance Anthology. Now, this will be, it's called You Are What You Study. You are what you study. Okay, let's bring this up. 1 second. Let me bring this up. You are what you study. And this is Radiance Anthology. All right. Okay. How can I make this bigger though? Let's make sure I got this on the screen too. All right. Let's see if I can make this bigger. Okay. Radiance Anthology. This is called You Grow Like That Which You Study. It kind of goes along with that phrase in the world where they say you are what you eat. It's the same thing spiritually. Should make sense. You are what you study. You grow like that which you study. You grow like that which you study. You pour my water first. All right. You grow like that which you study. The subconscious mind, which acts through the sympathetic nervous system. The subconscious mind, which acts through the sympathetic nervous system to control all the voluntary. Oh, you know what I should do is have the other two parts ready to go. So I need to bring them up right away so I can make them ready to go. So let's bring up the other two. This has a part 2 and a part 3. Part 2. All right, bring up part 2. And then bring up part 3. Part 3. All right. All right. Now we good to go. All right. You grow like that what you study. The subconscious mind, which acts through the sympathetic nervous system to control all the involuntary activities of life in the body, is affected by the images and suggestions it receives of morbid and diseased, morbid and diseased morbid and diseased conditions. Trying to fix the screen. Morbid and diseased conditions. Doctors, nurses, let's make it smaller. Oh, let's make it bigger. Okay. Doctors, nurses, and patients who talk much of diseases. Doctors, nurses, and patients who talk much of diseases propagate and distribute mental pictures of abnormal conditions which find fertile soil for growth in negative and fearful minds. How do you like that? Let me make sure I'm broadcasting. Uh, okay, yeah, I am. Doctors, nurses, and patients who talk much of diseases propagate and distribute mental pictures of abnormal conditions, which find fertile soil for growth in negative and fearful minds. How do you like that? How the mind works, you know? Guard your heart, for out of it are the issues of life in the Bible. The things people say, doctors, nurses, and patients who talk much of diseases, and people do that, man. They just seem to glorify their disease. That's why I stopped that nurse. I wanted to stop her, and it just seemed like a badge of honor. You talk about everything that's wrong with you, but not about the spiritual. It's hard on the faithists, because we in a situation where we can't, people just don't talk our language. Glorifying diseases and illnesses, and doctors, nurses, and patients who talk much of diseases propagate and distribute mental pictures of abnormal conditions which find fertile soil for growth in negative and fearful minds. It has been noted that those who study the heavens live long. Huh? Is that right? The Radiance Anthology is from it's like angel messages, from the second resurrection, if I'm not mistaken, the source of Radiance Anthology, what we're reading from. It has been noted. So now they point to empirical evidence. It has been noted that those who study the heavens live long. The mind of the astronomer expands to comprehend the magnitude of Mira and Betelgeuse. I don't know what that is. And soars through boundless space as one thinks of distances in terms of light years. You know what? I wonder, I bet you, I believe that's true, man. I believe it. I believe it. I happen to, faithist spiritual brethren live longer. I'm tempted to believe that, man. I think it's part of taking off the weight that the world put on you. I think that's one benefit, man, of faithism. The creator, he takes our concentration and puts it somewhere where it's not so detrimental to our physical health. We don't place as much weight on the material, the physical, and it plays out. I don't know. I could be wrong. It could be totally subjective. Plays out in a longer life. Maybe we would have been gone by now. And searching for the meaning of this universal scripture of the Creator, the Spirit embreathes that intelligence, which is the Spirit of truth. The meaning, which is the life of the universe, gives life to the Spirit. You who are disturbed and depressed by the cares of the world and the many duties of your lot can outgrow these disturbing states of mind by giving time daily to studies which will expand your understanding and intensify your feelings. Seek to catch glimpses of the great meaning of things, which is spirit or sustaining life of all that lives. Seek that spiritual knowledge, which will cause you to contemplate with awe the grandeur of the mighty Creator, whose marvelous presence is manifest in all laws and all forms in the universe. The seemingly dull, commonplace, and monotonous conditions in your surroundings are so because your spirit is tired and heavy with darkness of mortal thoughts. I will show you that by a change of mental state induced by study and creative thought, you can commune and become acquainted with your Creator, your living, loving source of infinite light. You can feel that inner presence within you, enlightening your understanding and transforming your feelings until the dullness of your life is illumined with infinite glory. I may sound kooky, but I testify that this is true. I'm a handicapped brother. I live alone. I haven't even met my neighbors yet. Life is one big lonely journey right now for me, except for when I have to go to the clinic or I have to go outside and go to the store, stuff like that. And it's like that for a lot of people. And I find that if you turn your mind to like at least just like read a little bit of the OAHSPE or turn your mind to things of the spirit, the miracle of the light the creator is sharing with us, that it makes the pain of loneliness, aloneness, and boredom, it lightens it. I testify that that part is true. You just turn your mind to things of the spirit of the creator, of your knowledge, your understanding, what the creator. A lot for me is looking at the world and seeing how the OAHSPE, it uncovers the world. By the knowledge of the OAHSPE, the world is uncovered. And really, the way the creator, the enlightenment that he gives, it uncovers the world, and it takes away not all the way fully, but the boring and the mundaneness of life. That's what they're talking about here. A knowledge of the creator will reveal that the ever-present is always with you. Your recognition of this mighty intelligence, all in all, attunes your mind to an exalted state of mind in which you can receive the blessing of the angelic beings who express infinite love. I'm telling you again, I testify that's true. At night, right around 11, most times I get visited. Sometimes I do not. I know that I'm being visited when I get such positive vibrations that it's hard to describe, coupled with learning and the light coming to life, meaning you can see it in the world. You can see it. If you dedicate, for me, it's easy. Well, when you get time to quiet yourself, and I get a lot of those opportunities to just quiet yourself. I mean, at night when I get ready to go to sleep, most of the time I stay up and they visit me. I know it's the angels that they are bringing light and love and knowledge and intelligence that don't just come from anywhere. I know it comes from somewhere. I'm sharing it with you that it seems like if you set aside a little time, I'm speaking from experience, and you set your mind to focus on the spiritual, the understanding the creator is giving you, who the creator is, you will be visited, man. And the way you'll know it is by the vibration that comes over you. If you just sit and listen and be patient and try to focus a little bit. Now, I can't go to Yatante yet. I want to, where some brethren, they can do that. Yatante, one of the heavens, a knowledge of the creator will reveal that the ever-present is always with you. Your recognition of this mighty intelligence, all in all, attunes your mind to and exalt your recognition of this mighty intelligence. By you recognizing that the creator, that the angels are visiting you, your recognition, that's what this means here. Your recognition of this mighty intelligence. All in all, I'm telling you, this is true stuff right here. I'm sorry, man. I am so sorry, man. This is for real stuff right here. This is for real. Your recognition of this mighty intelligence, all in all, attunes your mind to an exalted, I'm telling you, attunes your mind to, oh man, this is so true. Attunes your mind to an exalted state of mind in which you can receive the blessings of the angelic beings who express infinite love. Your recognition when you recognize what is happening to you, when you recognize it, when you recognize that you're being visited and uh, they are, what's a good word for bringing love and light, like we always say, love and light, peace, love and light, and all that. They do that. I'm telling you. And when you recognize it, you have to be still, man. Just be still and just try to quiet yourself. You know, your recognition will grow into faith, in this living spiritual faith will open your mind to the healing peace of all mind. When you go out of doors, feel that you are walking within the very nature of the Creator. Feel that the earth is giving you its now. I don't know so much about this. I haven't gotten there. I think this is like another level. When you go out of doors, feel that you're walking within the nature of the Creator. Feel that the earth is giving you its magnetic radiance. The atmosphere is filling you with invigorating vitality, and the sun is pouring its mighty energy into your being. Now, I think I can feel that a little bit about the sun. It's almost 100 degrees here in Arizona. Been that way for the whole month. Feel that the life and beauty of the Creator manifesting through all nature is giving you a magnetic and spiritual blessing, attuning your mind to the realization that you are one with infinite life and harmony. This recognition of the presence of the Creator in all things will make infinite life and healing power as real as your imagination. I believe that, man. You know, I'm not there yet, though. I'm not there yet, though. I'm trying. This recognition of the presence of the Creator in all things will make infinite life and healing power as real. This recognition, this recognition, feel the life and beauty of the Creator manifesting through all nature is giving you a magnetic and spiritual blessing, and attuning your mind to the realization that you are one with the infinite life and harmony. This recognition of the presence of the Creator in all things will make infinite life and healing power as real to your imagination as ill health made disease real to you. How do you like that? How do you like that, man? How our minds play a part in manifesting illnesses. I know that that's true. From it, you will gain a living faith which will restore. From it, your recognition of the presence of the Creator in all things, from it, you will gain a living faith which will restore health to your body and peace to your mind. I know that's true, man. Contemplate the beauty and power of the Almighty, contemplate the beauty and power of the Almighty, contemplate the beauty and power of the Almighty will, whose presence is manifest in all forms of life, and you will be attuned to the mighty harmonies of all perfect nature. Go to part 3, all perfect nature, all perfect nature, all perfect nature, and feel the thrill of infinite life pervading and increasing your life. All right, now it's 7:00. I'm going to end the video in half an hour, or maybe a little less. So if you want to come on and say something, type 1 in the chat right now. I'll drop the link, and so when I'm finished, I'll come to the chat. If you want to speak, and type 1 in the chat right now, I'll drop the link, and before I close, I'll bring you on. Feel the thrill of the infinite life pervading, increasing your life. You will grow like that which you study. You will grow like that which you study. Contemplate the beauty of nature, and you will become one with the spirit of universal nature, which is the presence of all life. Contemplate the life of the bee, in which is pictured that intangible, mysterious, pervasive spirit of the hive as the intuitive wisdom which acts through every bee, intuitive wisdom which acts through every bee in a hive community. It said, contemplate And then it gives us the life of the bee. Contemplate the life of the bee, in which is pictured that intangible, mysterious, pervasive spirit of the hive as the intuitive wisdom which acts through every bee in a hive community. From this and similar studies, you will realize that each one of nature's forms is a door to a kingdom. each From this and similar studies, you will realize that each one of nature's forms is a door to a kingdom of life with beauty and of boundless wisdom. You will perceive more clearly that all forms are physical manifestations of spiritual entities. How do you like that? By looking at something and contemplating it, it will tap you into the creator, the organization, the system, the perfection, the unity of the creator. By beholding the creation, is what they say in here. You will perceive more clearly that all forms are physical manifestations of spiritual entities. So when you look at something, somehow it's representative of spiritual reality, somehow. And that these spiritual entities or wills are drawing their intelligence and power from the infinite creator. They are infinite intelligence made manifest, known. Examine any form of life, and you will perceive a wisdom and skill. A wisdom and skill. Examine any form of life, and you will perceive a wisdom and skill so profound that your deepest thinking cannot fathom it. Human beings are the greatest of all nature's manifestations. The fact that your spiritual will has organized your physical form. Spiritual will has organized my physical form. Spiritual will. And that it has the power to sustain life and give activity to all its functions. Proves the truth of the proposition that you are endowed with dominion. This is out of sight. Your own thought, feeling, and will can mar our strength, strengthen on the spiritual character, which is the invisible pattern upon which your flesh is woven. Man, the power of our thoughts, man. By the cultivation of your creative thought, you can increase the organizing power of your spirit, your mind. Your thoughts can create disease or health in your body. How do you like that? Study and contemplate the mighty life of the Creator within and all about you. Man, this is saying something. That your mind may be filled with the breath of Jehovah's Spirit, and your body be renewed and reformed into a living image of health and perfection. Countless multitudes have been healed of chronic ailments by the study of spiritual truths, which have attuned their minds to the love and wisdom of the Creator. That loving beneficence never ceases its healing ministrations. Knowledge of spiritual realities will make your mind vibrant with faith in all goodness and mercy. You can become joyously vital with the knowledge of the presence and power of the I Am and radiate the infinite love to bless and heal all souls in your world. I believe this is true. I believe this is true, man. I believe it. I do believe it. I believe it. The power of the mind. I think when we have come into the world, man, they had a big head start on our minds. So far as the darkness that we were born into. And the Creator is now saying, shake that stuff off, man. Shake that stuff off. Okay, now I'm in the room. And let me greet each and every one of you. Let's see, not too many people today, but that's all right. I think the holiday weekend has something to do with it. Trish, Tabitha, shalom to all the beloveds of the Great Spirit. I second that. Thank you. Omian was in here. Light and peace, brother. Elijah, listen again. Of course, Mahalia. My view of getting your grade up is making a decision to help someone every chance you get. Yeah, it's everything we're involved with is the mind. It's the mind, man. Change your mind, man. The world had us for all these years, and then we came into the light, and the creator is, we're like a big ship turning around. If you've ever seen a big ship, like a cabin cruise, I've been in the Coast Guard. I was on them big ships. Man, if you want to turn around, it takes almost a year. No, of course it don't, but it take a long time, man, to turn a ship around. Same way with faith is. It take a long time, man. These things we talked about, they don't come in a day. You know what I mean? They don't come in a day. They're talking about patience. They're talking about practice. We're talking about a world people, they want to enter, but they're not interested, if I'm making sense. So that's where we live. I'm telling you, man, the things we talk about, you see the earth every day, man. The thing that vexes me more than anything is how the pull the earth has on the world. The pull. The pull. Here, serve me, serve me, serve me. What are we gonna do tonight? How are we gonna make money? How are we gonna pay the bill? Where are we gonna eat? What are we gonna do this weekend? I gotta paint the house. I gotta do I gotta do that. The earth, man. The earth is set up, man. The the false gods, the systems we live under, set up so that you got no time. You got no time to just sit down and give thanks and just smell the roses, like they say. The creator, to consider what the creator has done. People got no time for that. They got no time. And we in the time in the world where the creator, because of the love of the creator, he says, I'm gonna make you look up, man. Remember what we read in the book of ES, chapter 14? That one little phrase, man, I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. He said, I will make you look up. And he's not saying it to be mean. When you love somebody, sometimes, you see a parent, they will force it, to do something, and it's not out of anger. You know what I mean? Grab the child by the arm and say, get away from that stove, you know? Yeah, I'm with you, Mahal. My view of getting your grade up is making a decision to help someone every chance you get. That's what it's all about for us, man. We in the world, how many people you think going to be thinking about the creator this weekend? Big celebration, 250-year American history. People tying, sowing themselves to the earth. And we're in a time where the creator is drawing down resource. He's letting it happen. He's not doing it, but he's withdrawing his angels. When you decrease in your spiritual grade, when you turn more towards materialism, towards the physical, then the density gets thicker and thicker. And that's where we are in this world right now. I'm talking about right now, brethren. The world is in a situation. Faithists, I don't know how the creator is going to do it, but I get the feeling the world is going to cry out for faithists, man. It's going to cry. I don't know. I just have to think that he is going to open a big door. A big door. When the foundations start cracking, they start looking. Do you know I learned something about Druges? About Druges? A lot of them, from what I understand, I read in the OAHSPE that when they go into the spirit and they don't know what's happening, they basically jump on a mortal. It's like trying to save their life. That's what the OAHSPE says. It's like, or where did I read that? In Susan Martinez's book. In Susan Martinez's book, The Spirit World, The Field Guide to the Spirit World. She said when they go into the spirit realm and then they confused, they don't know what's happening, and they jump onto a mortal, like it's like a man trying to find a life raft. And so it's like they trying to save their life, you know? And it's really, I mean, it's like they want to grab onto a faithist because we have druges that we bring them into the resurrection if we do not obey them and their vibration. Did you brother know that? That the druges we have on us that influence us or try to, you know, that we resurrect them or they influence us. Black no Malacanini. Black Nino Macalini. Black Nino Macalini. Love and light. Let me see. Well, how you said, I evaluate myself at the end of the day to see if what I did what I could for those I encountered that needed help more than I helped myself. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. You know, that's the faith. That's faith. This talk right there. That's the mindset the Creator. He got us in. He changed our mind from ourself to he make us he make us outwardly focused in the sense that we don't just dwell on ourselves and meditate, think only on ourselves like the world does. The world is inwardly focused. Creator, he's training us to be outward focused. Outward focused, not to be focused on. That's the world. If you look at the world is focused on their situation, their concerns, their problems, and the create. It's part of like trying to turn that ship around. It takes a while. Human nature is to be self-focused. All right, and then Tabitha said the world government scratching their heads for solutions to crimes, poverty, answers redeeming your time. You got that right, sister. Each one help one. That's the Shalem principle right there. You said it. You said it, man. You said it. You look on social media, man, they tired of the rulership, the leadership. They keep talking about elections and voting and that's not the answer, my friend. I'm sorry. That's not the answer. That is not the answer. What they're trying to do is find a man who, you ever hear that song, Keep Me Searching for a Heart of Gold, man? That's what the world is doing and trying to find someone to lead them, someone to guide them. They keep on talking about voting. They keep on talking about education. They keep on talking about we need change. And the creator all the while is just walking right past you, man. You know, you don't do it, man. You only one who can legislate the human heart is the creator. He's the only one who can do it, man. You know, and now he's letting the world get to a point where they, he's letting the world get to a point where he's just like he said, I will make them look up. So stay tuned, brethren, because right now there's like a pause in the world with the situation that's causing everything in the Middle East. But we are in a situation where our oil and gas reserves are drawing down. Brethren, I'm telling you, we are very near, we're in the very near future. We are going to witness what breaking foundations look like. We live in a world where people live above their means so that when any break in their normalcy happens, it's like the whole house falls down because we live in a world where people love to live above their means. The creator is saying, Get rid of that materialist mindset. That's the answer. That's the only answer. Get rid of that materialist mindset. That's the answer. And the world say they want it, but then you tell them that and they don't want to hear it. They want ease. They want change without effort. They don't want no inconveniences. They want to eat meat. That's where we live. Jehovah, thank you for this opportunity to share your light, your word, with my brethren. Jehovah, I just ask for brethren all over the world. Jehovah, we are in a situation here on the Red Star where there is great trials and vexations going on. And yet we know that this must be the case to bring in the cosmic era, to bring in the kingdom. And Jehovah, we thank you for the things that we were able to read tonight. And we ask that for each and every one of us that we redeem the time. And that wherever we go, we spread the light. We spread the peace, love, and light. Jehovah, that we redeem the time. And so thank you for this opportunity, and be with us again when we meet again next week, according to your will. We pray for ideas and wisdom and knowledge in our daily living, and for our personal afflictions of our body, that we just have the wisdom to go through these things. We realize these things must be. But if possible, if we can heal ourselves, that you might grant that as well and teach us how. So, Jehovah, thank you for this opportunity. And until we meet again next week, we thank you for your mercies and our angels and our shars. We give thanks in your name. Brethren, thank you for joining me. And until I see you next week again on video, remember the Wednesday Bible study. For brethren who wanted an OAHSPE, go in the video comment section. There's a link where you can send an email. They'll send you an OAHSPE for free. Also, the 6-volume set, if you want the free if you're a little short on funds, you can get it on Amazon. But if you want the 6-volume set to the OAHSPE, contact me. I'll send it to you for free. Remember the Thursday, brother, where you can send him an email, and then he can Robert Bayer for remember his ministry. Wednesday, I'm going to be broadcasting the Wednesday Bible study. So I'm still working out the bugs. I brought a new computer. I purchased a higher internet plan. I'm still trying to work out the bugs to where it's clear as day, the broadcasting. So, brethren, thank you for joining me. Until I see you again next week, Creator willing, peace be unto you. Shalom.